Success is incredibly relative. What you consider success versus what I consider success may be totally different, right? Some of the happiest owners in any franchise system are not the top performers. They're somewhere in the middle of the pack, but they are spending the time they want, doing what they want, and making the money that they want. And if that's their success and they're happy, that's fantastic. The franchisor will be happy. Hello, everyone, and thanks for tuning in to the latest edition of Fran Coach's Franchising 101 podcast. I am Tim Parmeter, founder and CEO of Fran Coach and your podcast host. Today, it is just me, and we are going to talk about a really impactful part of the discovery process of when we are vetting franchises. There's a part in there called validation calls, and we've discussed this numerous times, but we're going to take about a little twist to this today. What if you're talking to an owner of a brand and you're only getting to validation calls if you're kind of got some interest and excitement with this brand, and all of a sudden you talk to an owner and this call does not go well. They are not happy. What does that mean? What are some questions to ask and things to think about? We're going to hit up that here next, right after we take a quick moment to remind you of who we are at Fran Coach. Fran Coach is the premier franchise consulting firm. Our number one goal is to properly educate you on franchise ownership to determine if you should own one. And if so, we're going to help you find your absolute best fit. Our educational approach ensures we focus on the client's best interest. We are not here to sell you a franchise. In fact, we don't sell anything. Finding the best franchise to own is an incredibly personalized and individualized process that can only work with a team of experts focused on what is truly most important. That's you. Fran Coach, our services are always 100% free to use, so reach out to our team. Click the QR code or find us at francoach.net. Now, let's get back to the show. All right, folks, we are back on the Franchising 101 podcast. And again, we are taking a little twist on validation calls today. So take a step back. Maybe you have not yet listened to all 298 Franchising 101 podcasts before today. Shame on you, but there's time. Go catch up. We've talked about validation calls a few different times because it is such an impactful part of this journey. So we get people introduced to franchises. That discovery process takes 6 to 8 weeks. There are a dozen or more steps along the way. Usually around the midpoint of this process, you're going to hear the term validation calls, which is you are now going to have an opportunity to speak to existing owners of that franchise to, quote, validate what you have heard up until that point. As a goal at Fran Coach, we tell our folks to concentrate on trying to have 3 to 4 validation calls. Have that as your goal. Doesn't mean you can't or won't have more, but most of the time you can get everything answered and you can see some consistency brewing when you can talk to 3 or 4 owners, okay? If there's anything missing at that point, then in fact, our team will help you go back to the franchisor to figure out who do we talk to for that missing piece, okay? One example I always use for the missing piece is if you are looking at a pool cleaning franchise and you've talked to 4 owners and 2 are in Arizona and 2 are in Florida, and you live in Minnesota, well, we need to talk to somebody about seasonality, not a whole bunch of that down here, right? So that's something that we would be able to help you with. That's an important missing detail at that point, okay? So most of the time, I'm always going to talk about kind of like what this really is going to look like is what if, as you're talking to owners, you talk to somebody who is not happy, okay? Most everybody you're going to speak to in any franchise system is happy-ish, right? I don't think there is maybe there is an entrepreneur out there that is 100% super happy, super content. Everything is running smoothly 100% of the time. That's just not the way it works, folks, right? That's not how anything works in our life. So there's always going to be challenges. It's about finding those, like, kind of the challenges that you want to have. And then success is a term that gets bounced around a lot. Success is incredibly relative. what you consider success versus what I consider success may be totally different, right? Some of the happiest owners in any franchise system are not the top performers. They're somewhere in the middle of the pack, but they are spending the time they want, doing what they want, and making the money that they want. And if that's their success and they're happy, that's fantastic. The franchisor will be happy. Okay. So most of the time it's going to be like that. But what all of a sudden you get on the phone with a franchise owner and they are not happy. Okay. Does this mean it is not the right brand for you? Does it mean that development person you've been speaking to has been a big fat liar the entire time? Well, I mean, maybe yes, but typically it's not that simple, right? So we want to talk to our team is going to talk to our clients going through this process about what we heard and really kind of dissecting that a little bit. What was it about that business that the owner did not like? The things that they didn't like and were not happy with, are those the same things that you would not like, right? If so, okay, well, that might be a thing, but sometimes it's not, right? Just because you're unhappy doesn't mean I'm going to be unhappy in the same situation. Sometimes you're going to hear that unhappiness really coming from a place in which that owner is making mistakes that they should not be making, okay? Maybe they're talking about staff and, oh my gosh, there's all this turnover. It's hard to keep these people. I'm babysitting them, blah, 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 blah. And you're sitting there thinking, well, geez, I was a little concerned about the staff. Also, maybe that's not the right thing for me. Valid. Maybe as you're talking to that person, you're like, well, you're a complete jackass, dude. There's no wonder why you have turnover. I love building a team and building culture. That won't be the same level of struggle for me. Okay. Maybe it's something day in a life. And that owner you're talking to for that particular franchise really needs to be forward facing and out in the community and building relationships and talking to customers. And that's not a fit for them. And so they're cranky about that. But you're sitting there thinking, gosh, the things they don't like, I actually am good at and really enjoy and I'm really excited about doing. Okay. Maybe you're going to talk to an owner that is a doer and you're like, I don't want to be the doer. I'm trying not to be the doer. I want to run the business, be able to scale this. Does that mean it's not the right franchise? No, it just means that owner is choosing to, whether they really want to or they got themselves in a rut with this. They're doing something that is not part of the plan. The other thing you're going to see people is like, oh my gosh, I'm working so many hours. I'm working 60, 80, 100 hours a week. I promise you folks, if there is a franchise owner, that's the corporate badge of honor, right? If somebody in the corporate world is working that many hours, they're like, and if a franchise owner rather is working that many hours, they are either lying to you or they are not following the plan. That is not how it is drawn up for any franchise system. Well, I'm working 80, 100 hours a week to get this thing going. You're not following the plan. You were supposed to hire someone, possibly several someones, and you've not done it. You think you're wearing this big red cape with the letter S on the back of you, and I got news for you. You are not, right? So you had to think about, are there struggles and challenges and things that they are not happy with? Are those things that you would struggle with? Are those things that would not make you happy either? Or the things they're struggling with, would they actually be things that would energize you with this? And staff is a big one. We had Lauren Mitchell, a franchise owner from McDonald's, on recently, and think about McDonald's, right? That is a massive staff of unskilled labor, right? We may get kids with their first job. We may get young adults. We may get 65-year-old people in there working, right? It is easy for people to see that as a daunting process and staff, right? But for Lauren, that was like she would just light up talking about that. Energized her to have the people component and build the culture and help people have, like, for whatever time that they are there, a great opportunity and a great experience as an employee. Okay, so you got to think again if that is for you or if not. There's typically times that you're going to hear the things the owner is not happy about are places where they have deviated from the plan the franchisor has laid out. And so when you hear this, and again, if you like, it's easy to get caught up in the story, right? Because by the time we get to validation calls, the nerves are going to start kicking in here a little bit, folks. Like, this is going to start to get real. Like, holy crap, am I really about to invest my money to start a business for me? Whew, okay. And so anything negative can really kind of exasperate that fear and make you think it's not the right fit. And maybe it's not, but that's going to happen when we get caught up in the story. When we kind of take ourselves back a little bit and you hear what they're doing wrong, and then you're thinking, that is not what everybody has told me up until this point. Sometimes it's super clear. Sometimes it's clear they're not following the process. Sometimes it's clear it's just the owner themselves, which is usually the case. But it can actually, those negative things, those bad validation calls can actually be great to validate following the plan, right? Oftentimes these are more powerful examples than when you hear the happy owners for this, right? So if you have a bad validation call and you feel like, hey, this is the reason not to do it. Again, these are things that you want to kind of start to think about, right? Are the things that that owner is unhappy about, complaining about, struggling with, are those things I would struggle with, right? Or will they be huge challenges that I don't want to tackle, right? Are they not things that I want to do? Am I a similar personality to that person? If so, then those may be the indicators that it's not the right brand for you. And that is okay. But I would also ask, have you talked to more than one owner? If you get the first owner and it is this way and you stop the process, you are looking for a reason to say no. And again, it's okay not to be a franchise owner. Almost everybody should not do this. It's okay if a particular brand is not right for you. There are over 4,000 brands not right for you. We only have to find the one. Okay. But if you have that one and you don't, and everything was good until then, I'm going to kind of question, like, why are we not even having a couple more conversations? That could be one owner. And again, if we're listening to all of the things, maybe they don't apply to us. Even if they do, or a few things do, it may still be worth having another call or two with owners, right? Now, again, that's why we say talk to 3 or 4 owners. Let's get some consistency with this, good, bad, indifferent, whatever it might be, to see. Now, if you're hearing the similar things from multiple owners, and the things that they are not happy with would also make you not happy, then this is really not the right brand for you. And again, that's okay. Even when you have an owner, kind of flip this around a little bit, that is incredibly happy, just raves about everything, changed their life, love this, love that, like it is a big old love fest of rainbows and unicorns. Does that mean you should own that brand? It absolutely does not necessarily mean you should. With the things that owner is super happy about, would they also bring you joy? If not, then it's not validating that the brand is right for you. If so, like you see yourself in them and their situation, then that is a great sign that we may have found your match. Okay. Fear is going to it's going to jump in at certain points of this process vetting franchises. The first couple calls, it's fun. It's just like, this is always kind of a joke. This is like dating. Oh, it was a first date, right? Well, this one was a little crazy. This one and this one are pretty good, right? But we're not really serious about anything. We're just kind of hanging out a little bit, right? But now all of a sudden we get a little bit more serious with this. And that's when the validation call, when now we start meeting friends, right? Dang, she's introduced me to her friends. Okay, that's a little bit more serious. We start hyperventilating a little bit, right? Same thing is going to happen here. The second you hear something negative, that does not necessarily mean it is not the brand for you. Okay. It might not be, but don't get caught up in the story. Don't get caught up in the negative. Don't use the one negative or two negative things to drive you to go, oh my gosh, this isn't for me. That was one data point out of how many along the way, right? Talk to 3 or 4 owners. Get a cross section of this. When owners are happy about something, awesome, great for them. That does not necessarily mean it's perfect for you. ask the right questions. Can you see yourself doing what they're doing? Can you see yourself embracing the challenges and everything along the way? Great. If you're hearing somebody complain about things, I'm telling you, success or failure in a franchise is almost always the owner is the X factor. They found the right or the wrong fit. Well, guess what? They should have worked with Fran Coach. But it could be the wrong fit, or they are not following the plan. And then again, I just cannot ever over stress the importance of that. So when somebody is you're hearing a negative validation call, is that me, right? Do the things that they're not happy about, would they make me not happy? The things they're struggling with, would I struggle with that? Do I have a similar personality? Nobody likes me. Nobody likes working for me. I'm going to have staff problems, right? Maybe we should think about a different version of what a business might look like. A McDonald's or an in-home senior care with hundreds of caregivers, probably not the right thing for you. If that person is struggling with it, but that's something that energizes you, then that's a them thing, not a you thing. Okay. So again, listen to what's being said, apply it to yourself, and see. Again, this I always kind of say, this is a process where you 100% have to be selfish. Finding the best franchise to own is an incredibly individualized and personalized process. Every bit as much as getting married. It is really designed to be that much of a match. Not everything is going to be 100% perfect about your spouse. Not everything's going to be 100% perfect about the franchisor. Guess what? The franchisor is going, there's not everything 100% perfect about you either, right? Don't let a negative validation call derail you for all of the wrong reasons. So take a breath, kind of think through what you heard. Talk to us at Fran Coach if you're not already not, and why aren't you? But again, it's something that comes up often. And I will tell you, last little bit here is I oftentimes tell our clients that I hope they hear somebody talking like struggling, something negative, something along the way, because it almost always proves you need to follow the damn plan. You need to work hard, but follow the plan, right? Trust it, follow it. We're going to help you make sure you found the right fit. But once you do, it's a lot of hard work, but it really is just that simple. Do what the heck you're supposed to be doing, folks, and you will find the level of success you're looking for. So that is bad validation calls. We will see you next week. Hey, thanks again for tuning into the Franchising 101 podcast brought to you by Fran Coach. I hope these episodes continue to educate you on the amazing possibilities that can be achieved through franchise ownership. In between podcast episodes, if you still want to learn more about franchising and the ways in which Fran Coach can help, there are a few places for you to check out. First, tune in to the Franchising 360 show. It is the only nationally syndicated television show about franchising hosted by me and Danielle Wright. Our TV show airs every Friday, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on Biz TV. Next, check out the Fran Coach YouTube channel, which is Fran Coach for You. You can find tons of franchise-specific content there. Plus, you can catch past episodes of the Franchising 360 show. If you like to read, we encourage you to check out our book, Becoming a Franchise Owner. You'll never guess what it's about. And finally, when you're ready to take that first personalized step and explore the franchise industry further, please reach out to our amazing team at Fran Coach. You can click the QR code or find us at francoach.net. There is never any fee for our service, so let us help you create your better tomorrow.